So here lies the matriarch of our direct family, our eldest, eldest, eldest child of Thomas and Clara Wellington. Ora Switzer, born February 24, 1903, transition August 23, 2009. You see there, her husband Fred Switzer, born February 22nd. Wow, they're only 2 days apart. He was 4 years older, birthday-wise, but born February 22nd, 1899, transition March 12, 1983, married November 2nd, 1921. So earlier when I was doing the Alexander video, I was talking about the importance of studying history and recognizing the dash, what was included along an individual's dash. So you look at my great aunt who passed at 106. Who passed at 106. She got a chance to see everything. By what I mean by everything, cars. She got to see cars introduced to the world. Electricity in homes, on streets, in buildings. Running water, right? We may have had wells, but we didn't have indoor plumbing, right? So modern conveniences like taking a shower, washing your dishes, bathing, washing your face, all those things that we do in the house, washing our cars in our driveway, all of those things, having a lawn, not a farm like that. Conveniences, you saw the introduction of all of that. All the way up to railroad and rail cars introduction, at least to this area. There were railroads before 1903, but the expansion, the westward expansion, right? You have also, we talked about in the previous video, we talked about integration, and as we look over this is the Nicodemus Cemetery. As we look over the evidence of integration, if we dug these bodies up, which we won't, obviously, you'll see blended families in this area, because Kansas was never a slave state. So integration. She lived through and she was an adult by standards. Okay, she was married in 1921 at the age of 18, but when she was 16, the women's suffrage movement and the 19th Amendment, giving white women's the right to vote, which all women fought for. Ida B. Wells, Sojourner Truth fought for that, but then black women, of course, were left out of the equation at the time. So she missed the opportunity to get the right to vote as a woman and had to wait to be a black woman and to be brought into the voting rolls in the mid-60s, right? Then talked about March on Washington, the bloody 60s. We're talking about the Bull in 30s, Red Summer 1919, the Great Depression, right? All the way up to and including casting her last ballot for, in all likelihood, Barack Hussein Obama in 2008, and her, and seeing he and his lovely wife be sworn in to serve as the 44th president of the United States. Her husband passed in 83, just before the Los Angeles Olympics. As we, look at the timeline, Reagan was in office. So he just lived, his last president, probably at full viability, was Carter. But they were together through all of those momentous times. Electricity, Cars, television, satellite TV, cable, the invention of stand-up comedy, right? The first blacks on television, whether it was, commercial, it was Diane Carroll in her show. First, they saw motion picture, the introduction of motion picture films, and of course sound being added in the 30s, I believe, early 30s. Or they had to travel to see a picture from dead middle Kansas, but I don't know how far they had to travel to see a film, but I don't. I wish we were here to talk about. Ask them, what was the first movie you saw? What was the first thing you saw on television? What did you feel like the first time you saw black people on television, or this or that or the other? Did you know Ida B. Wells? Did you have any conversations with, Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker and these foundational ladies? Kathy Bates. Did you know these women from these different powerful women? Did in your travels in 106 years did you come across these people? And these stories will remain until we meet again. But this is a great blessing, and great to be here. Glad to be here with my mom. Ha ha. We're out here this morning. We've been to all three of the Nicodemus Township cemeteries. Mount Olive, which is due west of here at Avenue S and 355th. And we went to the Samuel off of, Samuel's off of 350, 360 and Avenue O? No.
Oh,
No, that's the other one.
okay.
Okay, and then, covering all this ground this morning, including our walk. How you feeling about anything and everything? Anything you want to say, share, just in this moment?
I think it's awesome to come to Nicodemus and to take time to see the evidence of hard-working people that from before the sun got up in the morning, they were preparing. The cows had to be milked, the chickens had to be fed. I can't imagine all they had to do, but Aunt Ora, she was born Ora, I don't know what the T is for, Wellington.
Yes.
So she was one of the 9 Wellington children. And then she herself, I believe that she had, I want to say, I think she had 6 living children when I met her in 1975. So there was Verl, this is not the right order, Freddie, they called him Boo, Lee, Lorraine, they called her Shuck or Shake, they called her Shake. Okay, oh gosh.
Come back.
S- mm, 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 mm. What's Robbie and Aaron's mother's name?
Avalon.
Avalon. I can't remember who else. Oh, Harold.
Okay. Perfect.
And so this is an awesome woman. And as of all these men and women that lived in this pioneer town, they were dry farmers. They didn't have irrigation, but yet they lived. They hunted and they fished. They grew their own gardens, and they had pigs. They had um, they had everything they needed, despite the lack of um, of a railroad going through. That was a big deal. Okay, so when it was time for the railroad to come in this direction, the railroad decided to have it stop 5 miles away, to have a stop in Bogue, Kansas. Of course, you know that was a Caucasian town. And so that was basically the end of the fertilization of Nicodemus. And so for the young people and for the other generations above them, okay, so that was the end of the commerce growing in Nicodemus, because at one time at Nicodemus had a post office, it had a general store, or maybe two. They had
Two churches, school.
yeah, and they had a filling station. It was a thriving town. These were people that had some were professional people. They just had a one-room schoolhouse, so you know how limiting that is. So every child did not want to be a farmer. So after they went so far in school, you know, they left when they got to be 17 or 18. And either they got married and stayed here, or they went away to other schools, other opportunities, and made their homes, you know, in other states. And so still today, 2024, I'm married to Amos Wellington Jr. His father grew up here, and so that was one of Ora's siblings, Amos Wellington and Amos Wellington Sr. And so there is just so much to take in. Every time you come here, you learn more and more and more, and you appreciate it more and more and more. So if you haven't come, you know, take time. It doesn't have to be at the homecoming, but if you come during the homecoming, you're going to come intact with so many more of your relatives and friends. And so we welcome everybody. The township hall is open. I don't have the schedule, so I shouldn't quote what I don't know. But welcome. Come to Nicodemus. We love you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate that. And you guys saw that long-eared rabbit over there, and he's going to get the last shot in our video. But Nicodemus, Kansas, founded September 1877, and still here.